Welcome to Please Me, the award-winning bilingual sexuality podcast bringing you bold conversations and big clit energy. As a female host in a male-dominated industry, I'm thrilled to announce that Please Me is the #1 ranked sexuality podcast in the USA and worldwide, covering topics on sexual health, intimacy, and sexual empowerment. I'm Eve, your host, on a journey from trauma to sexual liberation. Join me and my guests as we dive into conversations around orgasm equality, self-love, body positivity, and essential sex education. Let's reclaim pleasure and close the orgasm gap, one empowering conversation at a time. Today, I'm so excited to bring you the incredible Vera Glass, a boudoir and fashion photographer whose work is rooted in the female gaze. We dive into how centering women's perspective transforms the entire photoshoot experience, from confidence and embodiment to intimacy, empowerment, and self-expression. If you're curious about boudoir photography, sensual imagery, or reclaiming your body through a sex-positive lens, this conversation is for you. And if you missed last week's Kink Series episode with Lady Veronica Castrell, go back and listen. We explored ethical gender play, doll play, and conscious kink in a way that is deeply educational, expansive, and thought-provoking. Perfect for anyone interested in these niche kink topics. I'm happy to share that I've been nominated for an ASN Award for Best Educator. This year it's a one-time vote, so I would truly appreciate your support. Please take a moment to vote for me today. The link is in the show notes. Thanks for being part of my journey. If you're ready to take your pleasure and sexual health seriously, explore the Sexual Longevity Protocol, a self-paced course designed to support you long-term. And if you want to start gently, download the 30-day self-pleasure and body reconnection practices, a free daily guide to help you reconnect with your body and build pleasure, one day at a time. If you'd like to support the show, here are a few ways to do so. First, leave a review and follow the podcast wherever you're listening. I invite you to join me on Patreon for just $9 a month for ad-free episodes, early releases, and exclusive content. Or subscribe to my paid Substack newsletter for more education, updates, and deeper insights. Lastly, you can join the Please Me Health Collective on SDC.com, the premier platform for the ethically non-monogamous community, using code PLEASEME for a free trial membership and access to my free monthly webinars. Follow me on Instagram at PleaseMe by eCreations for more. Please Me is for mature audiences, so sit back, relax, and surrender to the pleasure of Please Me.
And I said, "You look beautiful, first of all." I just said something along the lines of you get to choose the experience that you want to have in this life. Tomorrow is never guaranteed. We know that. So I choose to live my life today like I am a goddess walking this earth.
Ladies, let's get personal for a minute. What does your vaginal health routine look like? Because as we mature, our intimate self-care needs an upgrade. If hormone shifts have you feeling dry, less sensitive, or just not quite like yourself, I've got a simple 3-step protocol I'm loving. Every morning I use my lady pump to increase blood flow and wake up the lady bits. And yes, it comes with 3 attachments for all the sensations. Then I apply Shamelessly Aroused by Shameless Care, formulated with sildenafil, the active ingredient used in Viagra, to support stronger arousal, better lubrication, and more responsive orgasms. Pair that with a daily self-love ritual, and you've got a powerful daytime combo. At night, I use Parlor Games estrogen and progesterone creams to support healthy hormone levels and resilient vaginal tissue. Fewer oops moments when I sneeze, and way more confidence when intimacy calls. Dryness, decreased sensitivity, frequent UTIs, incontinence, low blood flow? These 3 upgrades can be a total game changer, because intimate health isn't indulgent. It's essential. And trust me, you'll feel the difference. Hello and welcome to Please Me, the podcast that aims to destigmatize conversations about sex and sexual health by turning the sheets into our classroom. Today, I am so excited to welcome Vera Glass to the show. She is a photographer who specializes in the female gaze and cinematic imagery. She is a woman's portrait specialist doing fashion, boudoir, and special events. And I Instagram stalked her until she said yes to come on the show. And so I want to, first of all, say you're welcome to everyone listening for my stalking abilities. And welcome to Vera for coming on to Please Me. How are you today, Vera?
I couldn't have asked for a cuter stalker. I'll say that much. I'm doing well. I'm happy to be here.
Well, thank you for saying yes. I know that you get probably so many messages on Instagram because your work is phenomenal. And so I appreciate that you responded and you said yes to coming on the show. And I'm so excited to host you today.
Same. I'm excited to be here.
So, the first thing I want to ask you about is how your photography differs. And you talk about the female gaze. So, I would love to know how the female gaze is shot in your photography as opposed to the male gaze, which is what we probably see in like magazines and everywhere else, right? So, I would love to just hear that from you.
Stop doing that to my couch, Merlin.
Oh. I can see your cat in the background, and my cat does the same thing to my couch too.
Yes, I could hear him doing it. So when it comes to boudoir, I mean, when I first started boudoir, I had no idea what it was, but it became very evident to me very quickly that there was a demand for it, that women needed this type of experience. But as I started to kind of grow in it, I realized that a lot of boudoir very much looks the same. It's all jewel tones and the same poses we've been doing since like 1984, and a lot of male gazy stuff, a lot of focus on the boobies and the bum bum, which there's nothing wrong. I love some boobies and some bum bums, but I just felt like there was a more elevated and curated way of capturing it. I don't want to just be doing the boudoir sessions that are a gift for somebody's spouse, even though I do that. My goal is always for my client to leave with something that she wants to hang on her wall. Like if she doesn't leave feeling like a work of art, then I didn't do my job properly. So I started focusing on how I could elevate the images to a different level. So with the way that I do my business, when someone schedules a session with me, I book a venue based on what they're looking for. Do they want a cabin in the woods? Do they want a Greek goddess looking garden? Do they want high fashion meets boudoir? Really, I tailor it to what that person is looking for, just versus having a studio space. I don't have a studio space. And then from there, I do styling. So I will go out and find looks that specifically are tailored to them. And I don't always stick to lingerie. I don't think that lingerie is necessary really for boudoir. It's about expressing your most sensual essence. It doesn't matter what you're wearing. You could be wearing a turtleneck and that's still going to come through. So between the curated venues, the styling, hair and makeup, where you can do everything from a simple girl next door look to old Hollywood glam. I really wanted my clients to be able to have an elevated experience that they can't get anywhere else. So that's kind of what sets me apart. The female gaze as well. I mean, yes, I love some boobies and bum bums, and every woman deserves a great photo of her butt. I'm a true believer of that. However, I think the female gaze is focused on the details. So really the feeling behind it, you have to be able to convey a feeling in the photos, which sometimes just a photo of your bum doesn't do. So I'm dedicated to searching for the feeling and capturing the feeling behind the pictures.
And I think that that's really what draws me into your photography, because first of all, you always choose the most gorgeous locations. Your locations are so beautiful and very elevated. I mean, you were not shooting in like a Motel 6, right? No, this is their gorgeous, gorgeous locations in and of itself, without anybody even being in the picture. The location is beautiful. And then the way that you're able to help the woman to emulate that feeling that you're going for, and it comes across through the photography, is so beautiful. And so I just absolutely adore your work, and I hope that one day I get to work with you, because we are in different states. We're not near each other, unfortunately, but Texas isn't that far. It's just a flight away.
And I travel.
And you travel, exactly. Yes. You travel. So we'll have to talk about that after the show, because I'm actually doing a pop-up pop-up event in June.
Ooh.
And yeah, it's a whole thing. But we're not going to talk about that right now
Okay.
because I want to talk about how you get the women in your shots. So a lot of times people have, fears about doing like a boudoir shoot, and you mentioned that a lot of people will come to you specifically for, a gift for their husband or something like that. But I want to talk about the ladies who come because it's a gift for themselves, right?
Mhm.
And a lot of times people will be afraid to sort of like reach out to you or book with you because although they want those sexy pictures of themselves and they want to have this like really elevated, amazing experience, they're just afraid to take the next step. What would you say to them?
So for me, what makes me so uniquely qualified to do what I do is that I had a very specific upbringing that involved me being bullied from multiple sources about my body and what I looked like, even just who I was as a person. Um, so the confidence that I have now is not the source is not arrogance or anything like that. It's something that I've built brick by brick. And honestly, when I look back at my life, I wouldn't change a single thing because every single experience that I have had has made me the perfect person to be there for a woman who is going through that kind of self-discovery and self-love. So I've had multiple times where a client's been there with me and say, I ask her if she wants to see a picture on the back of the camera. And when she sees the picture, even if I'm showing her the absolute best one, the undeniable, most gorgeous photo of herself, sometimes people see things that I don't see or anybody else sees, right? And they hone in on that. I have had women completely shut down in the middle of a shoot and start crying because of what they look like in a picture on the back of the camera. Because of the life experiences that I have had, I truly believe that I am the perfect person to be there for them in that moment. And probably one of the few people that can reach down into that space that they're in and pull them out of it. I see it as such an honor to be there for women in those moments. Um, so I guess what I would say to those women is at the end of the day, I'm not here to force anybody to book a session with me. I think that you should book a session with whoever feels the most aligned to you. That's how you're going to be able to guarantee to yourself that you won't be in a space where you don't feel supported or not safe. That's why I put so much of my personality out there, because I want people to know that women to know that when they book with me, that they're not just getting a session with a photographer. If it doesn't feel like you're hanging out with your friend at home taking sexy photos, like just with your bestie at your house, that's what I strive to achieve. Like, yes, there's a level of professionalism, but your comfort with me should feel like you're with your best friend.
I love that answer. And it reminds me of a post that I saw on Instagram on your profile, where a woman had taken some photos with you and you had shown them to her. And instead of the crying episode that you're
Mhm.
talking about for some women, she said to you something in the lines of, I finally see what my husband sees when he says, "You're so hot," or "You're so gorgeous, you're so beautiful." I never felt it or saw it before until I saw the photos of myself through your lens. And I thought that was so freaking powerful because I mean, you're building women's confidence, right? And so I loved that so much. I would love for you to speak on that part because I'm sure you remember that particular post. I think it was amazing. And the way that she shifted, I mean, that's transformation right there.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I've stuck with boudoir for as long as I have. This is such I'm not saying that I could completely shift somebody's entire self image overnight, but it's a huge step that people just don't realize how seeing yourself in images can connect yourself with your body. So in that case specifically, I love that client. I loved what my hair and makeup artist did to her hair. She really made her hair big and curly and beautiful. And yeah, she came in, I wouldn't say timid, but definitely not fully out there with her confidence. And something about seeing herself in those pictures, I was showing her through, that was just one of the times that I showed her the pictures. But throughout the session, you just see her get more and more comfortable in her skin. And then the confidence started to come out. I generally say it takes 20 to 30 minutes until it's like Beyonce has arrived. That's what happens. About 20 to 30 minutes in, you see a woman leave her mind and get completely into her body. And it's the most beautiful thing. And it's a very transformative experience. It is. Yeah.
Yes. And just getting into your body, right? And just like with sex, right? When we are in the bedroom, we may be in our head for a lot of the time, right? And not really fully present and fully embodied. And we need to kind of shift our mindset to get into the moment and to really feel embodied in that moment. And so I love that, you say it is a process, because just like anything else it is, right? So it should probably be scheduled on a day that you don't have a lot of other things going on, because, you want to be like fully present. And so how do you encourage women to sort of make that transition from like being in your head to like fully being in your body and really feeling that confidence within? Ladies, whether you are just starting your menopause journey or well into it and have questions about hormone replacement therapy, you're not alone. Many women experience vaginal dryness, decreased sensitivity, and urinary incontinence, like leaking when you sneeze, laugh, or exercise. These symptoms can be frustrating and limiting, but they are also very treatable. I experienced this myself and decided to try Parlor Game's topical estrogen and progesterone creams. Within 1 month of consistent use, my incontinence completely resolved. Topical estrogen helps restore tissue health, improve sensitivity, and support bladder control, while topical progesterone supports hormonal balance. If you are ready to stop suffering in silence, check the show notes for the link to Silky Peach, the topical estrogen cream, and Vibrant Third, the topical progesterone cream. I feel relieved and confident again, and I know you can too. If you've ever wished sex could feel more connected, more intense, or honestly just more fun, you need to check out Shameless Care. They're a telemedicine company built entirely around sexual health, real doctors, real prescriptions, and products that actually work. Like Shameless Chemistry, their oxytocin plus tadalafil blend that deepens connection and boosts arousal. Or Shamelessly Aroused, a topical cream with the active ingredient found in men's ED medication, increasing blood flow exactly where it counts. Every order includes a short video introduction from your doctor, transparent pricing, and no subscriptions ever. Just real, sex-positive healthcare that delivers results. Because you're a Please Me listener, you can use coupon code PLEASEME for $15 off your order of any product on the Shameless Care website. Use the code PLEASEME, that's PLEASEME, at checkout to claim your $15 off. Again, that's shamelesscare.com, code PLEASEME. Because great sex shouldn't be complicated. It should be shameless. This episode is sponsored by Shameless Care.
So during the session or just in general?
Yeah, just during the session.
Okay. Because I also kind of want to add something in general as
just
well.
However you want to answer the question is fine with me.
Okay. So during the session, I mean, it's all about being as present as possible with them, holding space for the client. Oftentimes these sessions are a lot like a therapy session. They tell me about where they're at in their life. They tell me why they've booked this session, whether it's, they've just gone through a divorce and that person made them feel awful about themselves. And this is them trying to reclaim that, or they've lost weight, a significant amount of weight. And this is their way of celebrating that or feeling like themselves in their new body. There's all kinds of reasons. So I would say like the first step is just holding space for the woman who's in front of me and their unique journey and experience. After that, part of being present is I take breaths with them. I make women take a lot of breaths. Sometimes I feel like it's almost annoying, but it's because I can tell when they're still up here. So I will touch them and like on the shoulder, after asking permission, I'll touch their shoulder and I'll say, okay, and take a deep breath. And I do it with them just like I would with my kids, honestly. I think, it's one thing to just tell somebody that, but I can visibly see when they stop breathing. I can visibly see when they're still in their head. So I take the breaths with them. I also notice that women hold a lot of tension, mostly in their mouths. If you are nervous when you come into your shoot, oftentimes it looks like this. Like your eyes are wide and you look terrified and your mouth is tense. So usually what I do is I tell clients, take a deep breath. And when you let your breath out, I want you to slightly part your mouth. And it's a small thing, but it makes a huge difference in the photos. It makes somebody appear a lot more relaxed. So 9 times out of 10, that trick works. And then thirdly, I would just say, just encouraging them, validating them. It is a scary thing to walk into a room with strangers and strip down to your underwear and bring out this like sensual goddess energy. That's a very brave thing to do. It's brave to invest as a woman in your connection with your sensual side. That is not something that we have done throughout history. So during the experience, just appreciating them, telling them what looks amazing, how amazing they look in general, how inspiring they are to me. I share all of those thoughts and those compliments throughout the process, and then show them the evidence on the back of the camera. Like, look at you. Do you see you? Do you see that? And eventually those things combined are when you see the shoulders loosen up. And then when you start to see this, I'm here and you're welcome energy. Like, I love that. That's how you get there.
Amazing. I love all of those tips and things that you can use like on an everyday to really get yourself into your body, right? And breath is one of those very useful tools that I teach all of my clients as well, because as soon as you, obviously breathing is something that we do that's unconscious, right? It just happens automatically and you don't even think about it. But when you do think about it, it brings you directly into your lung space, your nose, all of it. And you suddenly have to focus on your body and the present moment. So that is a great tool. So I love all of what you just said, and just, the praise. We as women are always taking care of other people, right? And oftentimes we don't get the credit that we deserve, right? And so I think it's beautiful that you can create this safe space for somebody to, one, tell you about their personal life and what they're going through, because that in and of itself is cathartic. And then also, creating a safe space for them to really like be embodied and really show off who they are. And it's just so beautiful to see the transformation. And your work is just so beautiful. So
I wanted to ask
yes.
add the in general comment I meant to make.
Oh yes.
Because, first of all, Boudoir is an investment. Maybe we can't afford to do those all the time. Okay. I'm just getting more into the modeling side myself because I truly believe in what I preach. I practice what I preach. Photo shoots for me make me go, oh, wait, actually, I am that bitch. Like it adjusts my mind like a little bit. I can be seeing myself every day, just being a mom, being a business owner, doing all these things. And I'm like, oh gosh, I feel like crap, and it just takes one photo shoot for me to be like, you know what, never mind. And actually you can't tell me anything, but in between photo shoots, because you can't do those all the time. One thing that I personally practice is whether I'm feeling absolutely fantastic and I want to celebrate that, or I'm feeling like absolute crap and I need to convince myself that I'm not. I will set up my phone in my bathroom and I will put my favorite music on and I record myself doing very sensual, sexy dances by myself. And then I'll watch it back. Sometimes I'll share it with somebody. Sometimes I won't. Sometimes it's just for me. And I see myself in these videos because I do love to dance and I can dance really well. And that also, it puts me back in my body. And all of a sudden I just feel very much more aware of what I'm working with, And so that's also something that I suggest to my clients to do in between sessions.
What a great tip. And I actually interviewed another boudoir photographer many seasons ago.
Uh-huh.
And she was a boudoir self photographer. So she
Ooh.
documented her sort of everyday life in boudoir photography. Maybe not everyday life, but her
Mhm.
life in boudoir photography. And she used it as a way to sort of document her life in visual form. And I thought that
Ooh,
that was so beautiful
that
because over
is.
time, you gain confidence in yourself because you're seeing all these beautiful images of yourself and your body and different angles and different lighting. And I don't think that this really existed for women, say 20 years ago or even 10 years ago, really wasn't as accepted as it's become now, right? And so we have this opportunity, this like window of opportunity to really, or really now until the future, right? To like put yourself in a position where you see yourself like Beyonce or like that supermodel that you admire on the cover of that glossy magazine, right? We've never been able to do that before. And I think now we can put ourselves in that role and really elevate ourselves to and with the tearing down of women in so many different ways, people body shaming people online and all of that, right? I really think it's a great way to really build your self confidence. So, would you jump in and just talk a little bit about how boudoir can really help your self confidence as explore it, maybe longer term, right? Because like one session can definitely help with your self confidence, but like if this is something that you invest in, and you just talked about doing things between shoots too. So I like that it's a progression. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I hope you've enjoyed this conversation so far. Since we did a deep dive, this episode will be released in 2 parts. Be on the lookout this Friday for part 2 with boudoir photographer Vera Glass. Don't forget to download your free 30-day self-pleasure and body reconnection practices on pleaseme.online, a gift from me to you. And don't forget to vote for me for Best Educator for the ASN Awards. It's a one-time vote, and I truly appreciate your support. All links are in the show notes. Are you looking for a sexy date? Look no further than SDC.com. SDC.com is the premier ethically non-monogamous website that is worldwide. It also hosts a wealth of information on sexuality and sexual health, and I host a free live webinar monthly on the site. You can use code 37340 for a free trial membership on me, and be sure to reach out on the site and say hello. I want to personally invite you to join me on Patreon for ad-free listening, bonus episodes, and early releases. Already there is a lot of bonus content on there with many webinars that I've done in the past and a show that I've never released to the public before. My show is completely self-funded, and when you are able to support me in this way, I'm able to spread my message of body positivity, self-love, and women's empowerment, and empowerment in general around sexuality around the globe. And so with that being said, I appreciate everyone who has already joined Patreon, and if you've thought about joining, now's your nudge to do so.